Hi everyone, it's Dr. Erin here, one of the good doctors of Abbey Research, and I am here with a video blog of our series, Abbey Research Reads. For those of you that follow us on social media or on our website, you know that we regularly review books and write blogs that we post on the blog on our website. We've decided to start doing them as video reviews since videos seem to be gaining a little more traction with our viewers, and hopefully we'll get this out to an even wider audience. So for today's Abbey Research Reads, I am talking about My Underground American Dream by Julissa Arce. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Here's the cover of the book. And it is the story of a young woman who is an undocumented immigrant who became a Wall Street executive. Personally, I loved this book. I learned so much about just how difficult it is to live your life as an undocumented immigrant. And Julissa is a person that we would consider now legally to fall under the category of a dreamer. She was brought to the country legally by her parents, and her legal documentation expired when she was a child, and she was not aware that it expired and that she was in the country illegally, and she didn't find out until she was, I think, 14 years of age. And even then still didn't really understand the legal ramifications of what it meant to be undocumented in the US. And it is, I mean, it's one of those kind of remarkable stories of perseverance and resilience, finding a way illegally for a while with fake documents to get her through all the way to working for Goldman Sachs. So she doesn't get the fake documents until she needs a green card and a social security number to apply for jobs. She manages to squeak through university in Texas, and all of these kinds of trials and tribulations. Her family eventually leaves and has to go back to Mexico. She's in the country by herself. It's a really, really rich story of her own personal journey to find out who she is and how she wants to be in the world, and how she can reconcile being both Mexican and American, having lived in America since she was 11 years of age. And, you know, for me, what struck out kind of more remarkably in terms of some of the things we talk about at Abbey Research was a lot to do with emotional intelligence and empathy. It's a harrowing story of just the fear that she lived with every single day, keeping this secret, how it limited her relationships at work, how it limited her personal relationships. And she felt so confined by this story, by this secret, that it started to have physical ramifications. She was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and suffered from chronic pain because her body was literally suffering. She was feeling the physical ramifications of that emotional and psychological stress. She eventually gains citizenship. She gets a green card through marriage, and then gains her citizenship in 2014. So when she's writing the book, she has her U.S. citizenship, and that's a wonderful story as well. I would highly recommend this book, particularly right now as we're dealing with a lot of stories of undocumented migrants and a lot of stories coming in about the migrant crisis and what it means to be an undocumented person living in the United States. This book gave me a lot of sympathy and connection on a human and an emotional level to just how difficult it must be, and how much she wanted to be an American and be accepted and be valued as a human being and contribute positively to society. And to the America that she believed in, that oftentimes wasn't the America that she was shown. From a more kind of business perspective, I think it was really interesting to hear how she talked about how difficult it was for her to have to lie. She had to lie to her employers at Goldman Sachs for a number of years. She was there on fake documents, and just how that limited how she interacted with her coworkers, what she told them about her life, She had to lie about being unable to go back to Mexico for her father's funeral because she was traveling on expired documents and fake documents, and so she could have been stopped trying to come back into the United States. Any violation after you're staying after the expiration of legal documents in the United States is a minimum of 10 years. You're banned from returning to the country. So this limited her movement, her engagement with her family in Mexico, because she was always under this fear that her whole life, this whole plan that she had tried to enact for herself would be disrupted, whether she was in high school, whether she was in college, whether she was trying to get a job as a financial analyst, all of these things. But from her employer's perspective, what it made me think of is very often at Abbey Research, we talk about the importance of knowing yourself to know others, and how important it is as a person in a leadership and a management position to know as much as you can about the people you are employing and managing and leading, so that you can understand how they operate within whatever business you're running, how their brain processes information, how they handle meetings, how they handle critique and feedback. All of these things, it's really important, how they process energy, and even just, personal things like what they like to do on their weekends, or what's their family situation like. All of those things are an important part of understanding the people that you manage. And Julissa could never be her complete and her fully actualized self in any of her work environments because of this. So it made me think that even if we strive as leaders and managers to know our people as best we can, there will always be things that they hold back. And that's really important to remember. Obviously, hers is a very real and with lasting and damaging impacts and consequences, withholding a very big piece of information, a very big part of who she was. But a lot of times it can be smaller things. We perform a version of ourselves in our work environments that is different from the version of ourselves that we show our parents and our siblings and our partners and our children and our friends outside of work. So that's important to remember too. Even if you try your best to be as empathetic and as emotionally intelligent as you can be about knowing the people you work with and manage, there will always be pieces missing, and you don't know everybody's full story. And that is so, so important when you're considering just in how you develop interpersonal relationships, how you manage conflicts, interpersonal and large-scale conflicts, that you might and likely do not know everything that you can know about the people that you're working with, and to give space and grace for that in your management and leadership styles as well. So I can't recommend this book enough. It's very well written and very endearing, and a wonderful story of what it means to love America and not feel welcome here, and to find yourself in a position of being illegally in the country, of being undocumented without really knowing what that is or how it happened or being aware of it, and her fight to regain her sense of self and her identity as both a Mexican and an American. It's a beautiful story, and lots of lessons that you can take from it. I've just synthesized a few here for this short video. So that is all for this edition of Abbey Research Reads. Stay tuned as we continue to learn and grow through reading, as Dr. Kristen and I both love to do, and we'll see you all next time. Take care.